Essential question. What do animals do during a rainstorm? When Rain Falls by Melissa Stewart. Illustrated by Constance R. Burgum. Inside clouds, water droplets budge and bump, crash and clump. The drops grow larger and larger, heavier and heavier until they fall to the earth. When rain falls in your neighborhood, you run inside and wait for the storm to end. I'm going to predict what the author is going to talk about next. I predict the author will tell how the weather affects the children. Maybe the story will tell what the children will do as they wait for the storm to end. They might play a game or read a book. That's what I would do while I wait for the rain to stop. Let's read on and see if my prediction is correct. When rain falls in a forest, scurrying squirrels suddenly stop. They pull their long, bushy tails over their heads like umbrellas. A hawk puffs out its feathers to keep water out and warmth in. Chickadees stay warm and dry inside their tree-hole homes. I will check my predictions from time to time as I read. The author is now talking about what some animals do in a rainstorm, and there's no mention of the children. The author did not tell what the children are doing, but I'm going to keep reading to see if my prediction is right later. A doe and fawn take cover under a leafy tree canopy. A red fox nestles in a warm, cozy den. This looks like a good place to summarize because it looks like we are starting a new place where rain falls on the next page. The author talks about the animals in the forest on pages 24 to 26, and then changes to a field on page 27. When it rains in a forest, a squirrel uses its tail as an umbrella, a hawk puffs out its feathers, chickadees hide in a tree, the deer hide under a tree, and a red fox family stays in a den. When rain falls on a field, plump little caterpillars crawl under leaves and cling to stems. Adult butterflies dangle from brightly colored flower heads. A raindrop knocks a ladybug off a slippery stem. The insect bounces into the air and then tumbles to the ground. A spider watches and waits as the rain beats down on its carefully built web. A mouse crouches under a fallen leaf. Bees hide in hives, and ants stay safe in their underground nests. The author begins giving information on a wetland on page 31, so this is a good time to summarize the information about the animals in the fields on page 27 to 30. When it rains on a field, caterpillars and butterflies hang on plants. A ladybug falls to the ground. A spider waits. A mouse stays under a leaf. Bees stay in a hive. And ants stay in their nests. When rain falls in a wetland, turtles tuck in their tiny heads. Rain splatters against their hard, strong shells. A dragonfly swoops down to perch below a fluffy cattail seed head. Whirligig beetles swim in circles and struggle to stay afloat. Sparrows huddle deep inside a dense cluster of leafy bushes, but ducks continue to cruise through the water. Raindrops slide right off their oily feathers. I'm going to summarize what happens to animals in the wetlands when it rains. Turtles tuck their head into their shells. A dragonfly sits on a cattail. Beetles try to float. Sparrows stay hidden in trees. And ducks swim in the water. When rain falls in a desert, a rattlesnake squeezes into a rocky crevice. It curls up tight and falls asleep. A tarantula scuttles into an underground tunnel. Bats hang silently in a hillside cave. An elf owl takes cover in a cactus nest. Spadefoot toads dig to the surface. They lay eggs and then burrow back into the sand. When the rain stops, animals living in fields and forests wetlands and deserts return to their daily routines. And so do you. Let's check our prediction now that I'm at the end of the text. While the author never did mention what the children did while it was raining, so my prediction did not happen, but I thought it was more interesting to find out what the animals were doing.